Dire team ban. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick.
League's assassin.
Dire team pick.
Night Stalker.
Ten seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Lich.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining.
That's the most horrifying
5
opening
seconds
ever.
remaining.
Why would you do that? Oh my god.
Radiant team ban.
Well, either way, as you said, Io
Dire team
once again
ban.
gonna be picked up for Mousesports and Nyx Assassin. We've seen both MNT and Skylark play this hero in the past, and we certainly do get a different feel here with an Io as compared
Radiant
to the first
team
game when
ban.
it was Io with the AA. Nyx Assassin, he's got the stun. He's able to just right-click a couple heroes in certain situations, in certain matchups, drop a couple mana burns against those heroes to give you an advantage. Whereas AA can't really do that same thing. So for sure for Mousesports, they'll be able to participate a little bit more in the lanes if it is
10
going to be an
seconds
Assassin support with an
remaining.
IO support. And I like that a little bit more than I like the opening they had in game
5
one.
seconds remaining.
But for Kinguin, Lich with a Night Stalker, this is some of the most terrifying stuff you can possibly deal with. Night Stalker can give you all the room in the early game. Lich will give you that passive edge. And if you start sacrificing into an IO dual lane, that is just a nightmare for those two heroes. Already they're going to be underleveled because it's a dual lane. And then there's also going to be no range creeps in that lane. Like, that is just an absolute nasty lane to deal with. So this is one of the more potent support duos you could possibly pick up coming out from Kinguin. And it's honestly hard to lose your lanes when you have supports like this. You just have to make sure not to fall behind in stuns and be able to pretty much pick up whatever the hell they want. No disruptor or something like that, unless they want to run like a Night Stalker core,
Dire
which is
team
possible,
pick.
but for sure they'll be answering the IO through their core.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Behold the horn of Magnus.
The heroes certainly can be very powerful, but it does depend on how
10
easy of a
seconds
lane he has.
remaining.
Up against an Assassin, up against Io, knowing that there's
5
not
seconds
a
remaining.
ton to deal with as far as him getting poked out of lane. I'm actually okay with this hero. I do like it quite a bit, and this is going to set Kinguin up.
Dire team pick.
Beastmaster.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Phantom Assassin.
Dire team ban.
Tiny.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick.
Legion Commander.
Ten seconds remaining.
Puck.
You may now select your heroes.
IO partner, just having more options is nothing but good for the team, and being able to jump in with a Legion commander is about as effective as jumping in with a tiny. It's certainly very close there. So
10
Mousesports
seconds
running with
remaining.
3 melee cores will be able to just muscle their way
5
into these
seconds
lanes, but of course
remaining.
the problems will arise a little bit later on. This last pick for the Kinguin side, grabbing that puck coil with 3 melee cores, including a 4th melee hero on the Mousesport side, means that Puck is going to land all his spells a lot easier. Chain Frost is going to be a lot larger of a threat, especially since there's also going to be Beastmaster pets on the field, and of course Magnus is going to be shredding. Not to mention the fact that Magnus amplifies Phantom Assassin with Cleave, which is also going to mean that she's going to be shredding. So this is going to mean that Mousesports put themselves in a little bit of a risk position-wise moving forward. But with Skylark scouting, the Hawk with MNT scouting with the Vendetta, you would assume that they'd be able to get around that weakness just by vision alone. But it is certainly something that for the Kinguin side, they can exploit.
Curveball at the end is
Prepare for battle.
how Bug ends up. The extra bit of move speed, 2 wards, and a windlace on his person. Are you going to get him out under mid lane?
XD. XD.
Oh, the shush emote. All right, I'm gonna go with these teams don't love each other. I will say that much. That for sure we know.
Oh shit. There's something to be said about like shit talk, and there's something else to be said about trying to goad the enemies into shit talking you. Like that's just next level, man.
30
Spartan draws a
seconds
heart
to
on the
battle.
Always fun to watch. All the stakes here. Moving on to the semi-finals for the winner. Loser goes home. First major of the new season. Qualifier here. Thug, bottom lane with Spartan. Patos looking to cliff someone maybe. Can he get in range of Thug? He cannot, and they will ping out the cliff.
Battle begins.
Will MNT.
Charge in. That would have been so nice for Patos. Mostly because IO kind of requires that early bounty rune just to get that bottle up until the point you get that bottle, or if you die trying to get that bounty rune, your life is so miserable as an IO since Tether at that point is pretty goddamn useless. So it was a close attempt, but they are going to leave Thug on this bottom lane. Give Madara his tiny, but this Legion Commander versus Magnus 1v1 matchup is actually pretty nice for the Legion. She is going to have decent matchups versus most melee heroes. It's not going to be a lane where she can prevent Magnus from farming, but Mag is going to have...
Oh, the toss to the low ground on Nisha mid lane. He's already used his illusory orb. He's not going to die here, but he will cop a lot of damage. Very interesting play. They had the tethered IO here, the tiny on the high ground, and he tossed down. Cool. Either way, shiny.
This is a dangerous lane for Puck. That's not really very frequently seen. MNT also roaming in, already dropped the handful, one mana burn on Nisha, now another. Nisha does have a little bit of extra regen coming out to him right now, and that's all well and good, but now that Tiny is level 2, Nisha's got to watch himself. Avalanche Toss is really, really difficult to land on a Puck because it's just going to be very far away from the creep wave, but still, Nisha doesn't really have safety for that for quite a long time. You can dodge a little bit of the Avalanche, or a little bit of the toss, but you can't dodge at all. They will have the bottle on Spartan to keep spamming that out, so this lane, pretty rough. And up towards top lane, Skylark, he is actually
Interesting skill build,
wild
yeah.
axes, but
Yeah.
still, he's not really worried in this lane.
Perhaps when MNT was up there near if you look at the Lich, he's almost out of regen. Likely he pulled a couple tangos, but feels like they probably skilled this up with may end up, kind of biting him in the rear a little bit later on as you'd like to have some points. Too heavily for it. Katsor just rotating around, gonna find himself the bounty rune. Bottom lane, as we mentioned before, it's just gonna bottom end. Thug is winning this one. Mid lane player maybe a little bit more off laner. It is a fairly favorable matchup on counterpart. Mid lane, Avalanche blows out.
Overwhelming odds as Patos sits in the full creep wave.
Wow.
And then the rundown with the extra movement speed from Overwhelming Odds, the Orb of Venom, and Boots advantage. So that's, I don't even know how much movement speed, but like at least 70 movement speed differential between those two heroes. Patos just didn't see that one coming. You have to watch out against that Overwhelming Odds. You can't sit in the creep wave, but that's going to be a huge pickup for Thug. Once he gets phase boots, this lane is all the better for Patos. He needs
Oh,
movement speed, he needs
Madara
mana.
mid lane misses the Avalanche. Else it could have been a kill there on Nisha. Pretty costly death here. Yeah, they do. No a mana for the orb as well. They can just chase down the Puck here. He has a phase shift, but that's about it. Nice void from the Night Stalker should keep him alive. Time being, but toss back into tower range. They get the tether slow off. It'll be 2 right clicks coming through from the tower. Madara needs a little bit more mana and won't get it as the bottle now empty. Spartan, but fun to see these two play in the mid lane. And now Thug with that level advantage. Well, Patos just now hitting level 4, but Thug soon to be level 5, just able to body him up. Bottom lane. Menti maybe looking to execute a side pull here. Top lane has picked up his level 2 on the Nyx Assassin, so not concernedly behind that. The Skylark in a level 3 here with
Not the best experience lane for the Beastmaster up against that Lich, but that's entirely to be expected. It's great, as you said, to see the IO and the Tiny play like this, and I don't really know how much this factors into it necessarily, but these guys have been playing together on a team for easily years now,
yeah,
right?
Since 2014.
Yeah, geez, like, the communication, you gotta assume, is damn near perfect. Like, I'll say better than the vast majority of teams out there. So going for these combos that require very proper timing, it's gonna be a lot easier for these guys to pull it off compared to some other teams out there. Not to mention the fact that Spartan is incredibly comfortable on the IO. Madara doesn't really get to play Tiny all that much, simply because it's not really entirely viable, at least as much as it used to be. But still, they're doing a pretty darn good job in the mid lane, just making Nisha's life very difficult, making sure that they're getting the creep advantage. Also, in their back pocket, they're going to have, well, another Avalanche Toss with a lot of damage. Night Stalker, can he clean up here? RNTP out, should be fine. They will all live, but they also have stacks for later, just in case.
Couple of double stacks. While top lane, Skylark finally finding some space by his lone MNT. Kind of harass the Lich here, gain a little experience from. Does execute a pull, so will deny a few creeps. Beastmaster, meanwhile, Thug pretty much free farming despite having a kill in the bottom lane. Has almost at parity in terms of yes with the A across the way. Skylark though in trouble now. He's gonna be slowed up by the Frost Blast. The Void will be there, and the Stifling Dagger coming through. He gets a stick up, but the blink forward from Exotic Deer will find the kill on the Beastmaster. Now maybe next time in a little bit of trouble. Has 5 stick charges here, and now a rotation through from Madara. He will lift him up in the air. They'll stick up. They have a mana burn. Maybe could have waited just a couple of seconds for the stun actually on MNT, but the IO spirits will help them out in that cause, and the tether keeping MNT alive. Now Illusory Orb, Dream Coil, nicely played through by Nisha in the pit. Will get turn kill for his squad. So a 2-for-1 when all is said and done, going Kinguin's way, but they do have the PA leave lane moment.
Nisha forces the orb. The jaunt to the orb that he threw out behind the tier 1 just to dodge that Dara combo. At this point, Tiny level 6, so his combo's damage power ramping up in a big way, and Blink Dagger, given the pace of this game, unless something drastically changes, should be up at a really quick timing for him, and I would expect for Thug as well. Has the phase boots already, a necessity up against any 1-1 matchup. You need that damage advantage, and for Legion Commander in particular, you need that damage overall. But Blink Daggers should be coming up quickly here for Mouz, and a great way to get around that EXP deficit that currently they're facing on the top lane because of that Lich. Just goes to get burst kills. Tiny is the king of that. Legion Commander, I guess you could say, is the queen of that. So yeah, once these items come up, big opportunities for Mousesports to smooth over this Beastmaster's power curve.
Yeah, Cats are being a little cheeky in the raid. He actually soaks all the nearby experience for both of those camps by the combination. Tiny in mid lane though. Coil again expended for the next skill. Now rotating through. Crippling Fury is going to be there for the time being. Skylark though, he's here. Does not have a level 6. But he has a couple of boars nearby. Can they get in range for a right click? It doesn't seem like that's the case now. Meanwhile, jaunting out to the north, will be able to make it back to safety, but the TP in to the shrine should ensure the kill here on the Night Stalker. Wild Axis will give them a little bit of vision. The spiked or the impale short from the Nyx Assassin. Still though, with a tether, they should be able to chase down this. It's a long chase all the way from the top lane for Skylark, but it will net him a kill. He tries to grab the last hit there. Spartan though will be the
call that space creation. Fortunately for Night Stalker, not the right time to go on a chase like that, as day was about to break, and who knows, with the Hunter in the Night movement speed with the option to fly over some trees, it would have been even more time bought for the team. And yeah, it is good time for Exotic here to go up towards the top lane and keep farming as that PA, get those levels up, and as you get higher level as PA, the lane gets worse and worse for any one hero to rotate up here. Mask of Madness, the selection for PA, which is, I mean, it's always going to be that high risk, high reward type item. In this particular matchup against this many physical damage dealers, including roars, including stuns, this is even riskier. So get help for farm, and my god, that's a stack to farm. But as far as fighting is concerned, just be careful. Speaking of being careful, I'm at T.
Yep,
Also,
third coil of the game.
survive.
All expended on the Nyx thus far, but you will actually be able to survive this one.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Body Nisha back, and Nisha has expended the Dream Coil, so that'll be down for the next little while. I mean, Master Madness, I think, more of a farming oriented item thing.
Oh, bottom. Duel. Damage. Not quite.
Oh, nuke there. Sure, that Thug can't continue. But nothing really lost but a cooldown. Time being. In the meantime, when they made that chase, PA unable to put any sort of structural pressure top lane, so still very healthy. In fact, pretty much all the towers in the game still.
Where the fun is going to end though. Madara does have a Blink Dagger on the courier. Now on his guy, and oh, that's actually an armlet being built up on the Legion
8 seconds till duel. Gaze forward from Thug, he gets silenced up. Katsor, oh, but in the river though. Dara baiting the regen rune, will jump forward, find the puck. Can he kill him off though? No, phase shift is there, and he gets the regen. Nisha. Wow, the TP in from Exotic Deer and the Chain Frost coming through. They kill off Spartan. Double kill. Great rotation from the PA. They'll shrine up. She will be no worse for wear having made that rotation. Top spot on the network. They get a big kill onto Thug. The reveal of the Blink Dagger doesn't net for this Tiny. There is a Primal Roar top lane. Relocate not available yet as the IO is just level 5. Couple of boars though, putting some right click punishment. Katsor, and a rotation through from Madara. Should net this kill without the need for a roar. The Hawk is nearby, giving them vision, and jump forward toss will save the avalanche for now for Madara. Or put some pressure in the tower.
You end up killing the Night Stalker now twice. Once on top lane, and Legion was able to seal the deal on the bottom lane, just chasing down with those phase boosts and that movement speed. Given to her by the overwhelming odds, but again, overall, a really subpar way of showing off your Blink Dagger on the Tiny. Still has it with the target in the Lich. Good luck, bro. Oh, Avalanche? Okay, it looked like it was gonna miss, maybe.
Meanwhile, bottom lane, they're gonna go look for a duel here. Relocate down. Exotic Deer gets Primal Roared up. Jump forward from Madara. They get the spirits off. The duel is there. Good patience from Mouz. And you mentioned the communication and the comfort between these heroes. It definitely shows there as they get a big kill on Exotic Deer. First duel win of the game for Thug as well. And they'll defend mid lane as they'll take out the puck. Siege Creep still hitting away on the tower. They need to deny this. Madara will be successful in doing so. A very beneficial set of circumstances in the last couple minutes for Mousesports. They do end up losing the Spartan Wisp. Patos. Very good trade.
Any Blink Dagger, man. Once that item comes up, game gets a lot less fun for the Kinguin side. Even a hero as elusive as Puck, not able to survive that burst. They will find Thug. Thug has backup, and he's
got
only
some backup.
One.
Chain Frost will only bounce once. Thug should have a press the attack. It is level 2. Has the armlet as well. Exotic Deer in trouble. Dueled up. Brought down. Coil will connect onto 2. Nisha jumping through. Can't even kill off Spartan just yet. And will be in trouble on his own right. He gets the phase shift off. There is a Carapace though, so can't just orb away just yet. Overwhelming odds, excuse me. Finishing him off. Patos is there. Has an RP, but doesn't have any follow-up, so chooses not to expend it just yet. He'll be dead as well. And now the Primal Roar from Skylark on the north side. The body blocks are there for Katsor as well. They're going to get the tether move speed forward. Skylark trying to pace. Spirits will be out and there. Spartan finding the kill. Overwhelming odds not even needed. Double kill for the Wisp, and across the board bring down 4 heroes for the Mousesports side without losing one of their huge swings in their favor as they assume a couple K.
Dire's bottom
The
tower
most
is under
baffling thing
attack.
about that was that they were able to put that fight together without Madara, who was on top lane, farming, pushing the entire time. So Tiny getting a couple of seconds of valuable free CS, and of course tower pressure and whatnot. So yeah, Madara wasn't even needing that
Dire's
engagement.
bottom tower
That was
has fallen.
unfortunately like Mag coming in with no mana. Could have landed a 3-man RP, but as you said, it was way too late by that point. Puck Unfortunately, not with line of sight around the trees. Could have killed off the IO with just one more right click, but didn't see the IO. A whole series of unfortunate events for Kinguin. I think so much but yeah, that was just Mousesports forcing the issue, and Thug with that armlet, incredibly potent in these fights.
Relocate.
Blink Dagger, and speaking of Blink Dagger, no, it's not.
Yeah. Gonna get Avatos. The Nyx is nearby. They're hoping that they'll bring in backup so they can get an extra kill off the back of it. But MNT will just secure the gold for himself. Grabs up the mana burn to finish that Lich off. Yeah, maybe bot lane just underestimating the tankiness of the Legion Commander with the armlet. They initiate on her, kind of find her out of position, but they don't nearly have enough damage. Bring her down to about half HP. She heals up, pops the armlet. Be a good bait there by Thug. Either way, that's going to be up until this point. I think major. MNT top lane's going to finds Patos here. Locate, not available for another. UTP in, yeah, in the Madara. And with the Empower, beautifully played. Madara jumping forward, being economical about it.
Centaur saves him.
Makes it down to the low ground. Blink. Oh, the avalanche from the high ground and the overwhelming odds there. Maybe a little bit too conservative for Madara there. Looked like, oh, he may have been lagging, I suppose. Pause, but just looked like he wanted to save the avalanche. Ended up having to use ways to grab the kill. Either way, they get the Wisp on the other side of the map, but still a good for Mouse, and it's actually of the nicely played by MNT and Madara. Very unfortunate. Timely death.
That is a slick spiked Carapace up against a Magnus who just wants to farm within power. Like, yeah, it will happen every single time. It just doesn't really cross your mind that's a possibility until it actually happens. And as a Mag, like, there's nothing you can do about that. Still had a chance with that Centaur. Kind of screwed over Patos in the last game, but trying to help out redeem himself, that neutral in this game, not quite there. It's only a Centaur after all, but losing the IO, not a big deal. It doesn't even have to relocate, so can't really help out that much either. We now have a gem on the Beastmaster as he's starting to build in towards the Heaven's Halberd with the Medallion of Courage already up on Skylar. That is just going to be a nightmare for PH.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Yeah, Exotic Deer, after a great start and a good early rotation, big of a threat as she was. A lot of this net worth of hers kind of committed to farming her current build-up. Where certainly geared to fight. They're going to find a Primal Roar, and they're going to relocate in on top of the puck. They get off the combo, even though the Waning Rift comes out. Avalanche was already thrown. Now Madara looking for the toss back onto the PA, and he actually walks to the left just briefly. MNT, though, by the rune, is going to find a stun onto the PA. They don't have the follow-up, however, as they relocated back to the top lane and back himself out. Peril.
But he's on a collision course with the Night Stalker.
Dire's top tower is under
Just
attack.
out of sight. Martin wants to place this obs. Has a tether out, but can't quite get there. I don't think. He's silenced. He's dead. That obs.
A lot of ways to kill IO here.
Yeah. And they do clear out that
Dire's
observer, though. I
structures
mean,
are fortified.
very obvious why an Aya would be there of all places. So, losing Spartan yet again is going to give Magnus a little bit of extra cash. Reveals the Blink Dagger, though. Not exactly ideal. For Mousesports, though, Thug, he's busy farming right now. Armlet Blink. And yeah, Blade Mail or something along those lines perhaps for Thug, but it does seem like they do need to start mixing in this Legion Commander a little bit more for these kills. Perhaps onto Nisha now. MNT with Vendetta is looking to set up for a tiny play.
Higher lineup behind, and we're now starting to see kind of the hesitation or the tentativeness of the Kinguin lineup with the threat of the constant Primal Roar into relocate. Now the Blink duel into relocate. Oh, and they're going to pop the smoke immediately with MNT. He'll hit a Ravage 3-hero stun. Jump forward from Madara. Goes right in onto the Magnus, but he gets the RP off onto 2. Can they follow it up? They're doing decent damage. They'll bring down 1. Madara, he's still surviving, though, on the Tiny, but they end up getting 4. Thug now having the TP out will be successful in doing so. Being a 4 for 3, it's a double kill for Exotic Deer on the PA, and that is a wicked 6 streak. ended for Madara. So Exotic Deer, tons of gold there for him to pay, and that's about 1,000 that fight. And if you look at the metrics overall, it's 50 net and about 1,500 gold net as well, going the way of the King side.
RP was good. They tried to burst down the Magnus and couldn't quite get there in time, but the real MVP of that fight for the Kinguin side was the Lich. 2,096 damage, Chain Frost bouncing only between enemy heroes, and MNT looking for the back of the Aegis is going to get there a little too slowly.
Thug, though, jumps forward. He is going to get the kill for the Radiant side, but snatched is the Aegis by the PA. Now the Wisp coming through. They're trying to get this duel done, and they will win it against the Puck. Now jumping forward is Madara. He gets an Avatos combo off, but won't kill anyone. Now the Primal Roar comes through. Puck actually buying back into the game here, as they will finish off the Wisp. Now Puck rolling through, has the coil. Madara in trouble. Tossed up, brought down, though. We'll try to get the Exotic Deer kill. He'll pop the Aegis at least with that last right click. Luckily enough, not evaded. Still a really rough fight in the pit there for Mouz. They commit 2 heroes early in the Nyx and the Legion. They die off. The Wisp gets killed. Madara in the back end as well. I mean, it costs a Puck buyback, but at this point in the game for Kinguin, it seems well worth it. Puck does not have a blink and will not for the next little while, but it's going to secure them a tier 2. Did for a moment secure them Aegis. Had it popped.
Dire's top tower
First down,
Radiant's
Aegis
middle
tower will be
has
claimed.
fallen.
MNT, careful.
Jump forward, RP gonna find 2. The skewer back. The Chain Frost is there, but doesn't bounce nicely as it hops over to the creep still, though. They kill both of the targets caught by the RP. Decisive movement from Paytos. And the last 4 minutes or so have been devastating for the Radiant side.
One item picked up in the last 4 minutes, it was the Magnus Blink Dagger. There's S&Y on Phantom Assassin, Veil on Puck. Not bad items in their own right, but just that ability for Kinguin to start
Radiant's top
engagements
tower
on
is
their
under
own
attack.
end means that Tiny with the Blink, Legion Commander with the Blink, as powerful as they are, they have to see the enemies, they have to go in first, and the Night Stalker Nighttime Vision doing a little bit better than the Birds for Skylark, at least for right now as far as starting those engagements. And even if an engagement was to start, it kind of needs to go on this PA. She is a little bit bulkier now. She has maxed out
Dire's
Blur.
middle tower
That
is under
mischance
attack.
is going to be quite annoying, but it is certainly feasible for Mousesports to burst down a hero of PA still with the amount of damage they're able to put out. The problem is that they're not getting the jump on her. They really need a Roar to land or an Avalanche Toss combo to land or something. So far, that has not been the case every single time, at least in the past couple minutes. It's been starting to fight.
Oh, they dropped the sentry. MNT in trouble. Yeah. He's going to be dropped. Gets the Carapace off, just delaying the inevitable.
So many kills.
It's a concern at this point where, you know, at the 14 minute mark, they had Kinguin 5-manning out of the fear of the relocate. And that, in that sense, it was advantageous for Mouz, but then they couldn't continue to find pickoffs. And now with these last few engagements, when there's a substantial experience lead, you know, to the tone of 7k now for the Kinguin side, despite all of this 5-manning, it's a major concern for the Mouz side. So the 5-man was absolutely the appropriate response to the style of play that Mouz were scoring there earlier on, but
Radiant are scanning.
now Mouz just kind of seem a little bit spread. They've gone for these innovation items, as you mentioned,
Dire's top
Night
tower
Stalker
is under
Darkness
attack.
with the Magnus Blink. Been Kinguin's the ones to initiate. Aura blinks up. Now, Smoke did get popped briefly by Emin, but just on the Magnus. The rest of the heroes, although Mouz be well aware of their opponent's intentions at this point, they will take out tier 2 top lane with the combination of Thug and
It did seem like 5-man earlier was out of desperation, and now they just want to 5-man, and Mouz don't want Kinguin to 5-man anymore, because when the enemies are moving around like this, the relocate on the IO just gets so much weaker. The Nyx Assassin is prone to being spotted and killed, as he's in the middle of nowhere. Everyone's actually coming into this. Like, usually you expect to find like a Night Stalker or a Lich with a Vendetta, but everyone to come in like that, the Kinguin are not looking to get separated at all, and is working out so very well for them. Nyx dead for third or fourth time in as many minutes. So, yeah, Kinguin are just finding the pickoffs, and Mouz are splitting the map a little bit. Still getting some decent farm on Madara, still getting some decent farm on Thug. Can't really ignore that net worth gain on them. But for right now, they're not really using their blink daggers. Concerns because Kinguin are using all the assets that are available to them.
So, Dota 2 trivia. How do you counter 5-man? By Aghanim Scepter, I guess. Thug's got it queued up. He wants to duel someone, and no one else can contribute. Madara TPing out top lane. Spartan will do so along or by his side. But this will be interesting to see if this actually pans out for Thug. I think he's actually committed to buying the point booster. Yeah, so he will be completing up this Ags relatively.
Radiant's
800
top
gold, so
tower
yeah,
is under attack.
away from finishing the map up. And I think, you know, the reaction has been appropriate from Mouz in the last couple of minutes. Just trying to commit some split push here. The puck, though, keeping in, and it is darkness. Now Thug is forward. They can jaunt for the Dream Coil, but there's no immediate follow-up just yet. M&T looking to flank the backlines. He finds the Lich. Go back out to... Now, they will not get the tier 2 as it's defended, and in the meantime, the Dire eliminate the tier 1 a little bit late into the game. Now Madara in trouble, gets solo RP'd, skewered down towards the tower, and they will find him. Nice relocate save, though, from Spartan. So Coil's been expended, RP's been expended. Do they bring back the Tiny is the question. MNT out into the cover of Mandena. Looks like sacrifice the Wisp. Spartan. Well worth it, though, I think, on the respawn of Spartan. They can actually fight, which they have last while. The RP off the board for 9.
Not really the longest cooldown to exploit. Sure, they're ready with these additional items. Aghanim Scepter, as you said, on the Legion Commander. But perhaps just as importantly, the Heaven's Halberd complete on the Beastmaster. Slap that on the PA. You really can't do much about it until this Lincoln Sphere comes up. But I actually haven't seen Legion Commander go for an Aghanim Scepter ever. So I'm not entirely sure how effective it's going to be. It is going to be very much so reliant on who she actually decides to duel with. No Blade Mail. It means that dueling Exotic Deer is not a good idea. So that's probably not a good option for her. But everyone else, I'm pretty sure with this Ags, should be, I mean, safe. Maybe not a straight kill, but she definitely won't die to it.
Thug queuing up, press the attack top, but unable. And that's going to be the window, pretty much expired. I figured with the relocate, they may be able to Primal Roar and make a quick play, but Skylark got a bit of cold feet bottom lane. He out. RP will be.
Arms for the dead.
No real advantage left now for Mousesports.
You know if this dual Ags gives you, like, complete immunity? Can she get
it's like a
RP
BKB.
BKB piercing?
It's exactly like a BKB.
Okay.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Will
attack.
still get RP'd, but it is a very long duration. 5 seconds. 4.75 at level 2.
Doug knows that he is able to 1v1 anyone, except for that PA, of course. Is still sitting on top lane. We still have Skylark sitting on bottom lane. Standard Beastmaster stuff, honestly. Unfortunately, does not have any Necro units, nor does he have that level 15, so he doesn't have that additional dwarf for the additional push power, but this constant pressure on these side lanes will force Kinguin, at least right now, back from their mid lane push. And the hope here is that for Mousesports, they're able to separate Kinguin at least somewhat and get the rotation off. Nisha almost stunned himself against that spike.
Oh, the relocate. This is inopportune here. He's going to phase shift it away as they had the War Vision nearby. RP, though, it does whiff. Now Mouz maybe looking to go back in. No, they're just going to sacrifice Spartan. Dara will get under the cover of Shadowblade. He blinks out to the north. Can they... As well, Mouz with a bit of a miscue there. Are going to end up dropping. Just absolutely desperate for a pickoff. And I was just about to raise the point. It was a bit curious to me. They had Hawk Vision here. about there, but they had no other vision in the area, no sort of tinker ward, which actually the Dyer has, and Skylark was just parked bottom for 2 or 3 minutes waiting for this pickoff. They finally see a hero, but he backs off towards the shrine and they relocate kind of out of position where naturally there would be ward vision. Fortunately, blink initiate puck there. Nice reaction time from Nisha, but Mouz, maybe with a bit of, you know, bloodlust there, we're going to be punished pretty heavily. But
not an elegant way of initiating, at least for the Beastmaster right now. If you wander into someone and roar, it may work sometimes, but not up against Clark. You definitely do need a Force Staff or a Blink Dagger, and he's got the Blink Dagger queued up now, but obviously that's not going to be helping him then. So Mousesports, as I said, get it a little bit too far ahead of themselves. They'll find Katzer, though, in the middle of nowhere. Unfortunately, the duel blocks the entirety of that avalanche toss.
yeah.
And he's gonna live?
Yeah, they get the Shadow Amulet off, or Glimmer Cave, not sure what it was, but either way, they kill Madara on the south side. And that is, you know, that is just, I guess, by virtue of never really seeing this item, never really being used to practicing this item, and just a miscue from Thug. He should have just let the Avatos combo complete and would have had that duel easily. Madara could have probably extracted himself from any further danger, but now they have 3 heroes dead, with Spartan dying on the back end as well. In base somehow. And now they will push up towards the high ground.
He got teleporting out. His foil snapped and killed him. That's how that works, in case anyone is wondering. But only Wild Axe doesn't. 3 Wild Axes is about nothing against this PA and her armor. All the ice being provided to them by the Lich. That's Rax cleaned out mid lane. No response from Mouz. And that just goes to show why, as Legion Commander, we don't really see this item all that often. Usually there are no double-edged sword Aghanim upgrades, the strict upgrades. But for Legion Commander, it is certainly one we have to be careful. She is very powerful for right now, but is not even able to duel and straight kill off an enemy Night Stalker. You would at least be able to expect to kill off an enemy support with a duel like that. But just falling short is that's a big problem for Mousesports. They have to make sure that Legion Commander finds someone kind of off on the side and kill off the Lich. Nothing else really.
Yeah, and then, you know, Kinguin does have ways to kind of contribute indirectly to the duel with the ice armor, even though the Ags is there, whereas, you know, you can't use a tether on a spell
Shine, you have Empower. So many tools. Just kind of cheat through the Aghanim Scepter. They're going to jump forward on the bottom. Dr. and Nisha very separated from their allies, but still very confident.
Spartan able to. Again, Mouz playing in this bottom area of the map, though, and they will be found out on Thug. And he has a duel, but can't really go for it here. So low in HP. Trying to armlet toggle through, but the coup de grace will answer to that. 1100 damage crit for Exotic Deer. And Exotic Deer's net worth is looking a lot like the CK's net worth from Madara of last game. MNT in trouble. Crippling feared up. He's going to drop top lane more than likely. He comes to TPL. Coil, though? Well, not even needed. Illusory Orb will be there from Niche.
Dara's looking to get some revenge, though. There is a gem on the puck. Not going to find the opening. They're also looking for bottom lane. Skylark Bird. Up in the sky, it's Patos and Exotic Deer. With an Aegis on this PA, even if they do relocate in, they run the risk of getting RP'd and then just cleaved in half, so that's a little bit too risky. They'll go for the Lich instead. They missed their entire combo.
They're under the cover of Silver Edge, but the sentry nearby have an RP ready as well. Oh, jumps forward into the toss, does the Magnus, and they will relocate out the Tiny. Meanwhile, top, they are relocate right out into Nisha, but the Wisp going to end up paying with his life. 40 seconds on the sideline. And Madara has looked a bit uncomfortable this game on the Tiny. Not sure how long it's been since they played this combo, but I mean, IO is a Mouse special. Really, has to be something he plays fairly often, but a couple of costly misses on these avalanches throughout the game. be the window of opening, the window of opportunity for Kinguin to jump up to the high ground. Exotic Deer, Aegis in hand, BKB and Lincoln's and Cheese on top of that. Be a very difficult kill. Jumping up to the high ground, popping the dust is a nice stalker, but really just a glancing blow as they simply facilitate the push of the Raxes here. Decent sized overwhelming odds, gonna hit onto 2. Be the melee Rax forfeit. Meanwhile, top lane, they're trying to split push it out. Thug gonna go in, trying to cancel TPs. Does connect on the duel on the puck. However, the RP pretty much gonna stop that up entirely. They'll kill off the Nyx in the meantime, and Thug simply will stall things out. They do get the tier 3 top lane with Madara, who blinks out down to the low ground. Spartan is nearby there as well. Thug has even joined the fray with the Wisp, but does not have a duel, and he's just gonna lose to a fight with the PA. Meanwhile, Nisha taking out the IO as he returns. Madara into some certain danger here. He gets underneath the cover of the Silver Edge though, and Skylark returns. They get the pushback on the Primal Roar, and they will stop up the puck. He's low on mana, is this Nisha puck, but has enough for the blink and the orb. Look for the TP out. Stun is there from Madara. Blinks forward, gets the toss. That is a gem, so not entirely inconsequential. But they do lose quite a few heroes. They lose their melee racks as well. Mid lane completely destroyed.
I like the attempt there from Mouz to try to split push on the bottom lane, try to get something out of that engagement, since they still not deal with this PA. She has Lincoln Sphere and still that double life, which should be reclaimed pretty soon now, but actually killing off the PA. I want to say Blade Mail on the LC could have maybe facilitated that pick if it was picked up a while ago. Still can for sure. Return a lot of physical damage back. But this Aghanim Scepter on LC, we've seen it now used for 2 duels, both of which were very, very unimpressive. As like Legion was just sitting there, the dual target was just sitting there, and they were just hitting each other, but they weren't doing any damage to one another, so it didn't really matter in the end. It was just like a really bad version of Rasta Shackles. Now that's not good enough, man. That's not good enough for this hero. That's not good enough for a 4,000 gold item. You need to be able to keep getting these dual wins as the Legion Commander. That's one of the biggest assets that Mouz have. They're slowly moving forward the entirety of Kinguin.
Hawk will be obliterated. What do you call PETA? And now the instant smoke Kinguin side looking to find someone, and it looks like Mouz. They may just find Madara in the mid lane. Thug is nearby as well. Snap reactions from Atos on the RPs have been perfect thus far, and he finds one with the skewer on Spartan. He has been absolute monster on the Magnus this game. Talked about it near the 20-minute mark with that first pickup of the Blink Dagger. 2 very handy team wins for them, and now they'll take out the tier 2 bottom lane. Their lanes are in a decent position elsewhere. Mid and top. Top is, the closest to the Dire base, but still we're near in a threatening distance at this point. Kinguin already with a lane of racks and a melee racks top. Gonna look for this final lane bottom. 10 seconds, no Spartan. Skylark up top lane. Big reflection on the Spike Carapace into Exotic here, but it's not really the opening they're looking for. Jump forward from Thug. He's going to try and find the duel. He will lock down the puck, but they'll kill off Madara in the meantime. Exotic Deer getting to work with the BKB. Buyback from Madara, but in the meantime, just cleaned up on the Nyx is MNT, and Exotic Deer still cheese in hand. BKB down, but cheese in hand, ready to go. They're going to go for tier 4s here. Armadara and Spartan. Last ditch effort from them, and now the TP's back come through aplenty. Spartan gets under the cover of the Shadow Amulet. Madara will get the kill on the Lich. Lich buys back immediately, dusts up Madara, and this should be the beginning of the end for the Mouse side. Madara out in no man's land, and that is a death for 100 seconds with no buyback.
The puck had plus 25 armor on him when he was dueling, so he was actually taking no damage to the Legion Commander. And because it's a puck, he was doing no damage to the Legion Commander, and those two of them just were right-clicking each other. I mean, the duel perhaps with the Aghanim Scepter would be a little more useful if you can keep the enemies purged or something like that. If you make the enemy magic immune also, that would be pretty sick. But all these effects of Solar Crest, Ice Armor from the Lich, making this Legion Commander's physical damage really, really difficult to pull off, and timing is very much so the same. Still with 50 seconds left on the clock. No creeps here yet, but he will really fight Exotic here, who still has Cheese and BKB
Radiant's
at 8
bottom
seconds.
barracks are under attack.
Harden gonna go under the cover of Shadow Amulet as a Stifling Dagger can just kill him off. Jump forward, RP is gonna catch two. Now Exotic here with the BKB. Jumping forward, he's gonna take out one instantly. That's gonna be Skylark's Beastmaster. Thug has to buy back as well as he dropped. Glyph is gonna be popped, but this is just time for Kinguin to really reset here. Thug can't really initiate on the PA. He'll try to do it and let the rest of his lineup deal with the remainder of Kinguin, but he will regret deeply that decision to duel up the PA, who will shred the Legion to bits.
Radiant's top barracks. Radiant's top.
That'll be the end of the game series here. Kinguin. GG Purple. Gonna do some BM bad talking as Thug will disconnect from the game. Kinguin looked really sharp in this last game, Mike. Specifically the play of Peytos. Very good. That first rotation as well, bottom lane from Exotic Deer, seemed to pole vault him up to net worth